What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of AOS Trash Pandas. I'm your host, Rob, and with me is my other host, Carson. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. Feeling much better than I was last week. I'm rested. I'm rejuvenated.
What do you mean?
My dog is angry about it.
Did you have a little too much sugar last week? Is that what you're referring to?
No, a little bit too much of something. And it wasn't alcohol or sugar. It was
Nice. Yep.
bacteria or something. I don't know.
Yeah. That. I wasn't sure how you were going to finish that sentence.
I wasn't sure either.
Yeah.
Trauma was being processed. It's just like flashbacks.
Yep.
But speaking of,
Or more like splashbacks, am I right?
ooh,
Ah.
don't like that. Don't like that. But I do hear a rumbling in the meat dimension, so let's see what
Okay.
our board's thinking today. We've got a hammer of some kind.
What?
Um,
I'm assuming your dog went
and
nuts.
one more thing. Oh, it's a nice whiskey soda with a little whiskey stone.
Ooh,
Yeah.
lovely.
My first alcoholic beverage since the happening.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Well,
The
let's-
meat dimension telling me it's okay.
Okay.
We're past it, and let's have a little celebration. So, cheers.
Cheers to you, sir, and the meat dimension in general. Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a chill week this week. We got some rules previews and such, but just thought we'd have kind of a fun one, you know, and talk about some news and some happenings. But first, I guess, Rumor Engine. Welcome to the stream, by the way, people who are watching. Lodivicus, I did see your Chocolate Rain comment, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. But
I did not.
so we got a Rumor Engine. It definitely feels AOS. I'm gonna say, I'm quite certain it is. I have an idea what I think it is, but did you want to postulate something?
I don't have like a specific idea of what it is. Like clearly something is. This is being like suspended by maybe something. There's like a hand just above the picture. Or maybe this is like a chain or something that this is attached to.
Or it's hanging down from a beast, like a beast of burden, like a horse or something. You know what I mean? Or like some kind of monster.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that this is something. Destruction.
Okay.
Just because of like the bones and like
Yep.
being tied around and stuff like that, that just kind of makes sense.
Right.
But I'm honestly not sure specifically what. And because we all love a little bit of hopium, it's another ogre's model. That's what I think.
Hey, that is a good guess. I think. I think it does. It definitely feels destruction to me. I agree with that. Ogres is actually not a bad guess, but I'm going to myself say Cruel Boys. And the main reason for that is one, because it does feel destruction, and two, because of that little vulture like head that's down below. And just the kind of ropes, like, you know, there's a lot of this kind of thing like on the Snatcha Boss and different models. I don't know, to me it feels like Cruel Boys. But I hope it's ogres. I actually would prefer that if it was something kind of fun and different like that. Oh, Beasts of Chaos. That's actually not a bad call. I could see that for sure. Beasts of Chaos. Oh, yeah. Ludivicus says Beasts of Chaos as well. Yeah.
Definitely something like savage, primal.
Primal, totally.
Or, yeah.
Pagan, if, you know.
Yep.
Like it's just bones, like some kind of tusk or whatever, like hanging next to some decapitated heads. Yeah. I kind of hope I'm wrong. You know, I feel like because we just got a Cruel Boys warband. Yeah, exactly. So like, I'd prefer it if it was, you know, if I could. There's one thing that they could give me for Cruel Boys that I would enjoy, and that's the long like. Since before they came out, everyone was been like, we're gonna get like some kind of vulture cavalry for Cruel Boys, because there was like a whole short story with Gobsprack in the End Times, or not End Times, but what do you call them, the Forgotten Realms or whatever it was called. And yeah, and anyway, so since then we've all been kind of going like, that was a thing, right? Because like they have it in a story, but we never got it. So that would be really dope. Like, just not obviously as big as his Vulture, but like kind of a mini Vulture sort of version of that. I think would be really cool. Like Gobsprack's personal guard or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Praetorianish.
Yeah, more stuff like the like we saw those Morbeg Knights that are like the Ghoul Cavalry, essentially.
Oh,
like
man.
more unique cavalry. I'm absolutely here for.
Absolutely. And yeah, I don't like, as much as I would like them to be like Morbeg Knights, I just can't imagine them being as cool. but like, you know, you compare that with like what this probably is, which is probably like a foot hero, you know, like some kind of Dawnbringer, you know, single hero release. Like, you know, here's hoping I'm wrong, because we got like so many awesome previews that came from the preview engines that ended up coming out in Flesh Eater Courts, and like everything in Flesh Eater Courts is absolutely killing it. So, you know, glass half full, I suppose, right? Yeah. Oh, Ludivika says he'd imagine some sort of adornment hanging from a belt. Yeah, maybe something big though, like 2 heads. You know, it has to be kind of a big thing, right? Oh, Slaves to Darkness. I could definitely see Slaves to Darkness, but you know, that tusk thing there definitely sort of feels more destruction. But you know what? Like, Slaves to Darkness has gotten a lot of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It could even be Zeech, just because of the, you know, the bird connection. Yeah, there's so many things it could be, but I would lean to. I'm sticking with my final answer, Cruel Boys. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sticking with destruction in general, but hopefully ogres.
Yes, I'm hopeful that it's ogres. Maybe finally like a named character. Wouldn't that be nice? You know. Or
that'd be pretty cool.
The true dream is the dual kit that's a named character and something else. But
yeah,
what if it was like some kind of like Beast Claw Raider ogre on gigantic Wendigo or something like that? No,
it's not gonna be that. No, I mean, like, I would love that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm here for that.
Okay, I was
You're
like,
never gonna give us something that cool.
I don't know, dude. Like, ever since Usharan, I'm just like, the sky's the limit. Like, their redesign of Croak, Be'lakor, I don't know, like every model has been killing it. But yeah, I can see how you would be cynical for ogres, but I just like to remind you those Gorgers are rad. So
yeah, they are very cool.
Hope springs
I'm looking forward to painting them for sure.
Yeah. What up, Keith? Still wondering what that Elven Rumor engine is. Which one was that?
Not sure. Also, I'm really sorry. Just gotta be right back.
Yep, no problem. Looking at Talia, I love it when they do a kit that is unique hero and a generic version. Yeah, and it's such low-hanging fruit, Keith. I completely agree. I mean, I've been saying it for ages now, as has everyone. But like, you know, like Gobsprack, for example, and the Breakoboss, like they usually seem to do that kind of thing. But then more recently, it's been like Croak only, Be'lakor, you know, only, Talia, etc. Or was it Talia or whoever's the one on the Manticore? I mean, the Scorpion Lion or whatever I was calling him. So a few weeks ago, it was linked to some Daughters of Cain. Oh, right, the Helebron one, right? I mean, that's definitely going to be a. Oh, right on. Carson will be right back. Whoops. Oh, no. Everyone. I accidentally clicked on the thing. Whoops. Sorry, everyone. I have the you know, the ability to go to the stream so that way I can actually see all the comments, because sometimes I can't see them on the Streamlabs. Big Pig was generic. That's true. Yep. You know, I mean, like, well, so ogres only have what is it? They only have the one like they don't have anything that is a named character. So it would be nice if they got a named character, but the dream is always, some kind of dual kit that you get both. But um, you know, like what's another? Most of them, most of the most armies seem to have something like that, right? For example, well, I guess when it was originally released, there was Krokgar, and then the generic Scar Veteran on Carnosaur. Um, you know, what else? Like I'm kind of, oh yeah, the Achillean King and Volturnos, or I don't remember the name character. And there's the Liege Cavalos for OBR, and then the name character version. Cities armies of Humies now. I figured if I limit how many I run of certain things, they aren't borked. Okay, I mean that's good news. Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon. Although I don't know if they designed it that way. Like I was thinking about Prince Vordry versus the the Zombie Dragon guy, and also there's the vampire on there, but then there's also like the Strigoi guy. I don't know if he was a named character back in the day, but yeah, that's they certainly made use out of it. Like they made him a named character. Oh, I mean the Vermin Lord kits. Like look at them. There's so many regular dudes, and then you've also got Lord Screech on top of it. Yeah, I mean it's just I don't know. Like wow, yeah, the War Altar. I didn't know that one, to be honest. Or like any. Don't all of the greater demons have something like Kairos, Lord of Change, Senesi or something like that for Slanesh? And then actually, you know what though, the corn ones are separate. Scarbrand versus the regular guys. So never mind. I suppose I'm just wrong. Anyway, that is. I think most people agree that it's better. The new models have, yes, good. Welcome, Savage. They are perfection, as Magneto would say. There's so much character to them, and what's really brought me back up, someone's returned from the meat dimension. Hello, welcome back.
I was listening the whole time.
Nice. Very interesting discussion. Savage has come to FEC. Welcome, brother in shining armor. I'll give you guys like a little bit of a preview, but I have finished kind of doing Penelope the Radiant. Okay, I made her like a green stuff. Oh geez. You can't. Okay. Well, I tried, everyone.
I'm sure she's ravishing.
She is absolutely ravishing. I made her a dress. Can I? Out of green stuff, like just before the stream.
Doesn't come through super well, but I am famished to see her in detail.
Oh, love it. Yeah, and she's got some like streamers. She's beautiful. Green screen with green stuff. It's true. I don't actually have a green screen behind me. Like I have one, but I don't really need it with this whole. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for joining us, John, as usual. Or I know you were here earlier, but yeah, I'm a little discombobulated today. Yeah. So, well, moving right along. Speaking of Flesh Eater Courts, the box set's coming already. This is one of the fastest turnarounds I've ever seen for a box set, I think.
Preview was Sunday, which
means
that maybe they'll do like a 2-week pre-order window as well.
That's what I've heard. Not like I don't talk to GW directly, unfortunately, but I have heard that they are all going to be like that from now on. 2 weeks.
Okay.
2-week previews. So I don't, but yes, that's what I've heard that about that. So it should be December 16th is their street release date, and then the box.
Yeah. I mean, as much as it sucks to like not get your toys as early, I'm sure that takes a lot of load off of the FLGS community and like a lot of what's it called, like just like the shipping delays that we've seen. Like sometimes people aren't getting their boxes in time and whatnot, and if the difference between people getting their boxes when they expect to get them and not is, you know, having 2 week pre-order windows, I think it's ultimately for the best.
I absolutely agree. It's and like stuff can go wrong sometimes. Like I remember way back when, 2018, around it was like around May or so, and I was waiting for Deepkin. Deepkin had literally just come out, and they did like a kind of a staggered release of that whole thing. It was like like literally 1 week per thing over 4 or 5 weeks. The whole army came out, so it was like little by little, right? Anyway, the big thing I was waiting for, the thing I was looking forward to almost the most was the turtle, and it got stuck at customs, and it took like over a week, and that was back in 2018 when there was none of this craziness kind of going on. So yeah, it is, it's fine, but like I am so excited. I saw someone complaining today because the Vargulf is on an oval now as opposed to but like, okay, you know what I mean? You can rebase. Like it suits him so much better now as well. Like it allows them to do something with the sculpt where he's just got these long, weird, skinny limbs that, yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
I also kind of like oval bases in this game. I know that there's like some weird movement shenanigans. Like it's not clear exactly how far a model is moving if you're like rotating it and stuff. And certainly people can kind of game that a little bit.
That's true.
But I think it's cool for a model to have like a huge footprint in one direction like that.
Yep.
So that they can kind of like, flip sideways and tie up a whole bunch of stuff or, yeah.
That's true. I like that. Yeah, totally agree. Savage says, I wanted FEC as a contrast to my city's army. I don't really know what you mean by that. Like, I feel like they're both fairly similar, knights in shining armor, and, yeah. Not sure I really understand what you mean there, but I like, if you like it, I like it. How about that?
Some people are just crazy.
That's true. I mean,
Polluted, even.
I have no idea what that would be like.
Yeah.
So moving right along, Battle Tome for a while before the 4th to use their new toys with the official release. Oh, I see what you mean. Like before the FEC, the full release comes out. I think that's what you mean.
I think he means AOS 4th edition.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's true. They probably do not want to compete too heavily with the Christmas boxes. That's actually a great point too. Yeah.
I do wonder if FEC is going to be able to be usable at LVO.
I doubt
Probably
it.
not.
I doubt it very much.
Yeah.
Which would be sad for the people who are like, oh my god, my time is now. But
Yeah.
it's better that yeah.
Cities is going to be there though, and that's going to be kind of terrifying.
Oh my god. Yeah, I agree.
I feel like it's scary, particularly because there aren't really any tournaments between now and LVO. It's like November, December is like kind of a dead zone.
It is.
And so cities is like essentially completely untested in tournaments,
Yep.
like with their new FAQs and points and stuff like that. So I have a feeling people are going to be rocking up, being like, "Wait, what? They can do that?" Like, and it's going to be crazy.
They're going to once again be like the ultimate castle army, really, and some people just strongly dislike shooting, so buckle up, Buttercup, because it's a coming. I like Keith's comment though a lot. Yes, complain that your old kits got updated. Please be sure to do so to a Skaven player for maximum effect. Yeah, that won't get your head, blasted off or anything. Yeah, I mean, it's that old adage where there's nothing that gamers hate more than change, other than things staying the same. So they really can't win in a lot of ways. Like if they could have, sure, they could have made him on around, what is the old one on, a 50 or a 60 millimeter base? I think it's a 50. Maybe it's a 60, whatever. Like, and then that would just change what they could do with the sculpt, like how they design the movement and look of it. And I wouldn't change that sculpt for anything,
No, I really like that they changed its silhouette as well.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
long forearms, like
Yeah, oh man, it's perfect. I would have liked it to have a little bit more wings to it, but okay, you know what I mean? Whatever. The old one couldn't fly, like according to the rules anyway, so maybe they
Yeah.
just got rid of that for sort of verisimilitude and whatnot. 60 mils?
I
I
mean,
couldn't remember. Thank you, Mac.
yeah, wingedness is something you could definitely green stuff on though. Like
For
the
sure.
surface area is there for
Mhm.
you to be able to expand on, right?
That's what I did with Penelope. So, you know, that model does not come with wings. Anyway, that's exciting. They also showed off the Red Gobbo. He got some. I saw some people like misreading his rules and also not understanding that his rules are legends. You can. I think he's on the same. I think he's on a 40, so you can probably use him as like a regular squig boss on giant cave squig. But yeah, his rules are legends for sure, and they're really fun. But yeah, cool model, really cool model. I almost bought the old model like that they did back in 2019 or something like that. But this guy looks way better, like way better. So yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, he is. He looks like he has like a chiseled jaw as well. Like I don't know why he looks like more. He looks like the action star version of a Git.
Yeah, you the guy on top.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Yeah, a little more Jay Leno action going on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a little more moon faced, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. He looks suitably ferocious. I guess they wanted to give him less of a comical vibe and more of like a scary vibe, maybe.
I don't know. He's kind of handsome. Kind of.
I mean, that's true.
I might buy that model just because of that.
Really?
No.
Okay.
But
I thought you meant like you might buy the model just to paint him because it's such a cool model. Not like that you were actually physically attracted to the goblin on top.
well, it could be both, you know.
It can be. Absolutely. Whatever floats your boat, pal. Old one had flying. Oh, did it? Okay, I couldn't remember, Mac. I disliked the model greatly, and then I got one that was like it was not pure GW model that someone had like kind of mashed together, and then yeah, I sold all of the old FEC models that I got used because they were not in my paint style, and I'm very particular about my models. Like I'm usually not happy if someone else puts them together, because they usually have mold lines and gaps and different things, and anyway, yeah, that's. But yeah, I'm super jazzed. I've been working pretty hard when I have free time on my FEC, but yeah, I don't know. I can kind of see the '80s action hero face on the squig. Yeah, that too. I was thinking that too, actually, originally. Like, he's got kind of a, Schwarzenegger kind of vibe to him for some reason. But anyway, he's pretty cool. And then let's see. Oh, and then we got a rules preview. Actually, I guess I meant to put that last. So the thing I wanted to highlight before that is they came out with some like lore behind what FEC has been up to. Would strongly encourage you guys to go check it out. I won't read it all out to you, but it was like a really fun kind of 5-minute read while I was in between doing things and whatnot when I could concentrate, and I really enjoyed it. They also came out with some fantastic art. I'll show that to you guys real quickly. We've got Usharan, who's like, standing on his throne. This one's cool. Obviously, this one I think is the one that everyone likes the most detail. This one's a little bit more graphic-y, which I do enjoy as well. But anyway, and then like I'm assuming these are all in the battle tome, but I just absolutely love getting new art, even when it's more in like a sketchy kind of artistic style, and then even stuff like this. I love this one too. So I wanted to like kind of praise them for doing like lore articles, lore previews. I'm someone who really enjoys that kind of thing, and new art I absolutely love. I have one request for them though. when they come out with this awesome freaking art, please put it out there in like a reasonably large pixel size, because I'm the type of person that likes to put it on the as the background of my computer, the background of my phone, and just kind of, I am the Mortark of hype, right? So that's how I keep my my dark energies flowing. And yeah, anyway, I just really like to do that. And like, I downloaded the pictures and I put them on my phone and they're kind of fuzzy. And I'm just like, oh, that's not as good. And so I used the developer tools, and I downloaded like if you just like right click on it and download it, it's a little different than when you use the developer tools and get the original image. But even the original image isn't that big. And what's funny too is they put like Age of Sigmar logo on this one here, and they put it on the Facebook page, but it was cropped. It was cropped a little bit smaller. So again, it's just not as good, but it was higher resolution. And I'm like, what are you guys doing to me, man? Like, just come on. Like, and I've got no problem with Age of Sigmar or the logo for Age of Sigmar, but like, this one looks so much better. Like, obviously I get you need something on there. Okay, Warhammer community, totally dig it. I'm totally cool with that. But like, anyway, so it's, the GW giveth and they taketh away. More of this awesome art, please. We all, like, there's no way that there's anyone who's like, no, I don't want more cool art, right? That doesn't exist.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, thank you, sir. But but like, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna put it out there anyway, give us like a little more detail, because even on my phone it looks not great. So whatever. Anyway, sorry.
You can do AI upscaling if you want. Like, it's not
That's
impossible.
true. That's true.
But you shouldn't have to. I agree with what you're saying. Like, it's nice
That's
to have
kinda
this sort of stuff in, nice preview format, because like they've already released these images on like out to the internet. They know that people can easily make this into like a custom print and sell it, or all the things that they're probably afraid of happening.
Yeah,
people
maybe
are already going to do.
Yeah,
So,
they're already going to do that anyway, and
yeah,
we'll see. But I would love to more Dark of the Sippy Cup. I would love a sippy cup. Yeah.
what would you put in your sippy cup?
What would I put in there?
Yeah.
I
feel like you don't want beer because it would get like too fizzy through the little sippy thing.
Hundy P. I was thinking whiskey.
Yeah, because it would kind of like oxidize your whiskey.
Yeah, exactly.
As it comes in your mouth.
And also I don't have to worry about it spilling. Also, whiskey tends to evaporate more quickly because of the higher alcohol content. So it would keep it tasting better longer. That's it. Whiskey. Final answer.
There you go. Whiskey sippy cup.
Didn't even need to phone a friend. That Stormcast hitting the ground in the background is actually pretty funny. He's mining. Yeah, I like the I like the guy who's like stabbing at his back, and it's just kind of implied that it's not going to do anything at all. Yeah. And they also talked about like kind of the humor and what was it? Like how they kind of change the names and figure that stuff up. And one of them was like livre bois or something like that. And hit like Lord livre bras or whatever his name was turns into Lord liver belch. It's almost like food and like some kind of eating, contextual eating sort of thing. And yeah, anyway, I enjoyed that. But I guess the main topic is the rules preview we got. Now, I saw a lot of people complaining, age of bookkeeping and blah, blah, blah. But this is far from the worst one. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't think this even shakes a stick at what Nurgle does.
Exactly.
At the end of every turn.
At the end of every turn. Exactly. Yeah. Because, like, what's the maximum amount of heroes that you can have in an FEC army? Ostensibly
What was the
six,
maximum amount of heroes in the? Yeah, exactly.
unless there's some kind of like, well, because it's like six leaders, right? So you could, I guess, there are a couple armies like Fire Slayers, I think, and I can't remember. There's some other armies I think that have like a hero that's not a leader, but I seriously doubt that's going to be the case here. So, with that said, probably the max is 6. Sir Carson, Lord of Liverbelch, Devourer of Delusions. Brilliant. So, so did the Ghouls kit stay, or was it replaced by the new one? From what I understand, it is a new one. They're also called Crypt Guard, and the old one is Crypt Ghouls. So it looks like it's the Storm Vermin to their clan rats. Yeah, Vanquisher, we know how that combat ended for real. We really do. Oh, by the way, before we move on, they did talk about some of the lore from Forgotten Realms Teclis as well, and like some of the other characters that are kind of in the background there, and Usharan and his roots in the old world. So it was a really good read overall. Highly recommend you read it again. But anyway, so I guess we should try and explain what we're talking about first, maybe. Noble deeds, battle trait. So this is something that the whole army gets, it looks like. Each time a friendly Flesh Eater Court's hero successfully casts a spell that is not unbound, give 1 noble D point to that hero. Each time a prayer chanted by a friendly Flesh Eater Court's hero is answered, give 1 noble deeds point to that hero. Each time a friendly Flesh Eater Court's fights after all of its attacks have been resolved, give that hero a number of noble deed points equal to the wounds and or mortal wounds caused by that hero in that phase that were allocated to enemy units. Do not count wounds or mortal wounds caused by the hero's mount. There's already kind of a problem here that Alex, our local rules lawyer and I don't know, master of the I don't know what to call it, the rules lawyering, I guess. He was saying because at the end of it happens at the end of the combat phase or whatever, at the end of what is it? After all of its attacks have been resolved, right?
Yep.
So he's saying like he's going to like allocate from the mount first, because he as the player on the other side gets to choose where they get allocated to. And then if nothing else is, what do you call it?
Nothing else is left. Yeah, then you basically you can deny FEC player noble deeds points if you choose to allocate the mount's damage first.
That's what. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. You put it much more concisely.
I don't know that that's really gonna matter or come into play a whole lot. Like, first of all, I don't think most people are just gonna even do that. Yeah. And second of all, it's pretty rare that, right? I guess it's not rare, but like it caps at 6, right?
Yep.
Which is not a lot. It's pretty low cap. So like any amount of damage that you're probably going to be doing, I feel like there's like going to be very, very minute windows where that could actually be possible, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I agree. I mean, usually you do the leader character first. And yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be, well, actually, no, I won't say it like that. There will definitely be people out there who are annoying and crappy enough people that they will try and pull this in like a tournament or somewhere where it matters, or even maybe at their local game store. The vast majority of people will probably never have to deal with it. I do think that they should still just put an FAQ just to stop anyone from having a bad experience because they didn't write it out fully in a way that was, necessarily, because it's like after it's allocated or whatever. Wait, but you know what though? Wait, it says caused wounds and or mortal wounds caused by that hero.
It says
that were allocated to enemy. God dang it! If they just left off allocated, like the ogres thing, just make our lives better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know if they can FAQ that though, because like if you think about the ways that they could actually fix that without just rewriting how this works in general, they can't really change. So they can't force people to allocate the hero's attacks first. Uh, they
No,
can't.
no, I agree with that. How
They
about
can't.
they
Go
just get
ahead.
rid of
Sorry.
allocated? Because it's only on the frickin' hero anyway. Like they all happen at the same time anyway.
I kind of would have preferred if it was like, regardless of if it's the hero or their mount,
Mm-hmm.
just models slain. I think makes the
Oh,
most
I
sense.
see.
That way,
Yeah,
it's like kind of a compromise. It's like you can use both, but you also have to deal more damage to actually slay models.
right. But the only problem though too is it's like, well, if you're going up against a monster, it's like you just slay one model, you get one for
Maybe
killing.
add a clause for monsters and leaders or something, but then it gets like complicated for
It
sure.
does.
But
Yeah, it gets even
yeah,
more complicated, right? I agree. By the way, Keith, I'm not saying it will matter very often at all. I think most people will just be normal people. But you know what I mean? It's the whole should versus but maybe there will be people who do this. And anyway, whatever. So,
I'm going to be completely honest. Like, if this is how it's written and it makes a difference in a tournament game, I might actually do that as someone
there you go.
like facing an FEC army. Just because, like, now that I know that's a thing,
Hmm.
you kind of have to assume that, like, once this is revealed, everyone is going to be doing that at when you become like super competitive. And maybe I'm a jerk for it, but I'm sorry.
I mean, tell us something we don't know. Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think that like I'm definitely going to send it into the FAQ team and just be
Yeah, I
like,
agree.
but maybe you should write it in a way that isn't going to be because like honestly like okay so if you're in a tournament then you know that's how tournaments are designed. You're supposed to use every little like some people might be like well you can't like you're Tokyo drifted in to like get more out of your base size. It's like some people might even be like oh that's too far, but most people are going to think that that's totally fine. So that a matter where the line is, it depends on the person. I actually personally even in a term not I mean I don't go to tournaments so whatever, but you know what I'm saying, like I
Yeah.
I will remind I'm the kind of person who reminds people of rules that they forgot to help them out as well. And so that's
Yep.
kind of another line, right? But I hope they figure out a way of doing this so that it's not it doesn't create an NPE for anyone, really, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, I agree with what Keith said, which is that the effects of the noble deeds would have to, like, or sorry, I agree with that, with what he says. The effects of the noble deeds have to actually matter for
Right.
it to be worth creating a jerk moment, but also for it to even be a jerk moment in the first place, there has to be that tiny narrow window of this actually matters now. Where like the amount of damage that has been allocated actually could completely kill the unit with the mount, as opposed to like there's actually enough wounds in the unit that the hero can deal damage to.
Well,
So
and traditionally the Terrorgeist in particular is the scariest thing in the roster. We don't know what Usharan does yet. Hopefully he'll be a frickin' badass, but he's not really it won't matter for him anyway because he doesn't have a mount that we know about. But yeah, are you really calling our type of people normal? You make an excellent point. Sustained. Moving right along. Yeah, I guess we have to know what the full effects of the noble deeds points are as well. You shouldn't feel bad about using them. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Especially in a tournament situation. Like if you're at the gaming table, like in your local shop, you know,
I wouldn't do it there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Like I would maybe consider doing that if it really matters in the game
yeah,
and it's like top tables
yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
where I would probably pull that out. But if I know that the game is not like the game is like already going in my favor or something like that, I'm not gonna pull something like that
Right.
just to be like, well, actually this and this, like just to like win more. I would never do something like that.
Yeah. Or like if they've already got 3 or 4 noble deeds points, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you know,
Yeah.
but anyway, so, and then, sorry, the last point thing here is each Flesh Eater Court's hero can have a maximum of 6 noble deeds points at any one time, cannot be given any more until the number of noble deeds points it has is reduced to less than 6. So then we got perform enough noble deeds points, and nearby followers will enter a fever state of jubilance, abandoning themselves to a feeding frenzy in recognition of the deeds of their liege, and adding 1 attack in melee. So add 1 to the attacks characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Flesh Eater Courts units while they are wholly within 12 inches of any heroes that have 6 noble deeds points. So at that
Sounds
point,
like a pretty big effect.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, like, I'm trying to think. The only things that have mounts that I can think of are the Abhorrent Ghoul King on Terrorgeist or Zambi Dragon.
Yeah.
So
Granted, those are going to be your hammers as far as heroes go.
hopefully
I think.
we don't. I'm assuming. I honestly am kind of just like, they could have taken away that whole 6 mortal wound thing at any point for the Terrorgeist, and they didn't. So I hope that they come up with a reason to take a zombie dragon other than it just being cheaper as well, because I felt like it wasn't thoroughly, encouraging to try and take one before. But
Right.
we lose resilience to shooting armies turn 1, since we cannot replenish any units after first round of shooting. Also, most of our heroes don't fight. I mean, we don't know though, Mac, what else there is. Like,
Yeah, they revealed a couple new heroes. Like there's that Royal Decapitator guy. You have to imagine that guy's going to be able to fight.
he'll be able to fight, but also, like, I think he's talking about like what you get. Like, I think you're basically saying like you're not going to be able to fight with them turn 1, so then you won't be getting any noble deeds points until later in the game. But it will be hard to replenish and stuff like that. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like, what is it in I don't play OBR, and I'm not a huge fan of OBR, so I don't know the rules very well. But I think some characters in that army can just poop out stuff. So anyway, actually, before we go on too much further, what you're referring to as well is Muster Guard battle trait. At the end of the movement phase, each friendly courtier can spend 1 of their noble deeds points to return 1 friendly serf model that is within 10 inches, not wholly within, by the way, or 2 other noble deeds points to return 1 friendly knight unit that is within 10 inches. You can use this ability multiple times each turn as long as the required noble deeds points are available. So that is as we're... Yes, I knew you knew it was just speculation, but I'm just, kind of... I mean, you might be right, too. Like, there might be nothing else. We might be kind of like, ugh, like, after turn 1, and then... Ugh. But hopefully there is more than this. Like, the nice thing is too is it's like I've seen some people talk about comparing them to Gits, and it's like, well, Gits, you just get it, and it's random, but you just get it. You don't need to pay for it with noble deeds points, for example. But the other problem with Gits is that you need to have your Loon Shrine there. If you don't have a Loon Shrine, then they never come back. So if someone smashes it to rubble, too bad, so sad. It doesn't look like this is... It looks like most of these things are coming from the characters themselves. So that's another kind of point in their favor. Yeah.
So it creates like kind of a mobile utility castle in a way, as opposed to just being tied to your Loon Shrine.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it might favor some, and it looks like they're going to kind of favor having not just abhorrents and not just courtiers, but a little bit of both. So you can both replenish and also, as we'll see in a second. Oh, wait, what? I thought there was something else. Okay, well, I'm assuming that there's more.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be more for like maybe what you can spend the noble deeds points on, maybe like
Right.
ways of generating noble deeds. That's like that screams to me that there's like a command trait that maybe you generate extra artifact or something like that, or maybe subfaction. Like I assume it's much more than what we see
Oh,
here.
yeah. Here it is. I knew I saw that. I knew I was like, there's more. Because Abhorrents are of royal descent, they can return whole units of serfs and knights, replenishing the ranks of their army while the enemy begins to falter. It is these same sovereigns who sit on the courts of delusion, weaving a veil of madness over their subjects. So we don't know what it costs is. We don't know if it's noble deeds points or whatever, but there will be a way of returning whole units, Gloomspite Git style. So that's kind of, that'll be cool too. I'm guessing it's still probably because it's still under this same section, so it's probably you're using noble deeds points, but like, I don't know. We'll see. And it'll probably be like you can only return a unit once or whatever. But anyway, and then we have Delusions battle traits. In the first battle round, after the players have received their starting command points, but before the start of the first turn, you can pick one of the following delusions to apply during the battle. Kind of reminds me of Tyranids in 9th edition. Crusading Army, add 1 to run and charge rolls for friendly Flesh Eater Courts units. So that's always really good. I'm assuming there'll be a way of like, if not deep striking, but teleporting. There's usually, something like that, right? So that's kind of a big deal. Or maybe they have, like they currently have run and charge. There's ways of getting run and charge. Like I think there's a spell to give run and charge. So, run +1 to run when you run, and then +1 to charge as well. That's an extra 2 inches for that one thing. Defenders of the Realm, add 1 to save rolls for friendly Flesh Eater Courts units while they are contesting an objective that you control. So, yeah.
It's pretty nice.
It's pretty nice. You have to control it, which is a thing.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's just contesting.
Yeah, it should be, I think, just contesting, because it's like you control it until the end of the turn, right? That's correct, right?
No, like So you mean you gain control of it at the end of the turn?
Yeah, right?
Yes, yeah, and then after that you just control it.
So if you go on to an objective that you're now contesting, you wouldn't have +1 to your save until the end of the turn, I think.
I don't remember exactly when you actually gain control of something, but I believe that's correct.
Again, this is kind of making things a little more complicated than they need to be. But yeah. It is, I guess it does change the power level of it in a way, but also you if someone comes onto an objective that you currently control, so it's better defensively, worse offensively, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. So I guess it's, a little bit of both. Be shocked if the sub-factions isn't replenish 2 models instead of 1. That would be cool. Maybe the... I can't remember them now. I only remember the ones that I liked, but I liked Blister Skin and I liked Gristlegore because, one is Crypt Flares, which is one of my favorite models, and then the other is by far my favorite of the old models, which is the Terrorgeist. But also I really like their lore. Blister Skin are a bunch of like crazy priests that are trying to get close to the sun, and they kind of worship they're like that. And then Gristlegore are actually a bunch of monks, and they're like pacifists, or they think that they're pacifists, but in reality they're riding atop giant monsters and murdering everything. But yeah, it can be defensive. Exactly, Mac. That's totally what I'm saying. Yeah, but anyway, that's all we got so far. But it's,
just
it's interesting.
Quickly back up,
please.
The effective control thing. So
Okay.
just to check the core rules, 18.1.1 for anyone that wants to check as well. But basically, when you deploy onto an objective, you gain control of that objective when the first battle round begins, and then at the end of your turn, you gain control of.
Right. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't bother with the whole start of the battle thing. I was thinking as the battle's progressing, so I didn't think to mention that. But Or I didn't. Yeah.
Yep. You can also
Yeah.
you can gain control of an objective in your opponent's turn as well.
Right.
Um, so that's one thing to note, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you redeploy onto it or something,
Yeah.
and then gain control of it
And then
in their
double turn.
and then they double turn you or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Totally. Absolutely. But another thing that I'm kind of hopeful for this tome, and we're gonna know what, less than a week, like 4 or 5 days from now. But the other thing that I'm hoping for, because like a lot of my armies, an unfortunate amount of my armies doesn't have heroic actions or monstrous rampages. Gits have them, and other than that, like not a lot. Like um, Idneth have one only in Iron Rock, and that's the sub faction. So it's kind of like you're giving up two things. You're giving up your sub faction, and then you're also giving up your heroic action to do their one thing. And then one sub faction has a monstrous rampage, and Skaven have none. So a lot of these armies that kind of got earlier books don't have as cool a toys. Ogres have some of the cooler toys, I think, for sure. And as we kind of went along, they kind of have been figuring it out more and more. So I'm hopeful, and I actually think that they probably will have something cool. And and hopefully it's not tied to subfactions like stupid Idneth Deepkin, because I'm tired of it, man. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
It's just cool
nice.
just real quick. It's really cool to interact with the main rules of the edition. And I'm surprised it took them this long to kind of figure out how to do that, but they have been nailing it lately. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, no problem at all. I was just going to say that one thing that is nice about the Delusions battle trait is that it's something that you can pick it like as you see who your opponent is, like
Exactly.
what they play, what kind of army they have.
Yep.
I really like that sort of thing, so that you can kind of like change up your army just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes it can be a pain when you're like, okay, I'm going to lock into these decisions, be it artifacts, command traits, or maybe other battle traits in other armies, and now it's just useless against this opponent. Whereas this one, you can kind of like hand tune it for each one.
And it says after you receive your command points, so that means you know who's going first. So that's really awesome. You can basically make it defensive if you need to, or offensive as the situation warrants. And then what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I was going to say hopefully they don't change it like they did with Tyranids in 9th edition, where they have the exact same thing. It was like, they're supposed to be adaptive, right? They're these creatures that just adapt to every situation and mutate. And then they were like, it's a little too powerful, so you got to choose it. You got to lock it in ahead of time. It's like, oh, that not only goes against the fun, but it also goes against the lore and the, whatever you want to say, the feel of it, verisimilitude, etc. But whatever. If it happens, it happens. I'm, like an unfortunate amount of time. There's kind of only one choice. You know what I mean? One or two choices anyway. So I'm hoping that's not what it is. Because like, oh man, right? But yeah. Anyway.
Yep. Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be more Delusions, and I'm sure that there's going to be more things that are viable. But I mean, just like the nature of them being, pickable after all of the information about your opponent and who's going first and stuff. I feel like even with the two that we saw, like there's no one right choice in every situation, at least. So
that's true.
That's kind of nice.
That's absolutely true. Yeah. I mean, it might, depending on what your game plan is. Like, if you have, like, say, like for Stormcast, if you have like an Annihilators list, where everything's going to be popping down outside of a certain amount of range, you're probably just going to go with the +1 to run and charge rolls. Like, there's nothing else in there. It's just +1 to charge. So, like, okay, like, it's just making me able to get where I need to a little bit more reliably. Whereas if you're contesting the objective or whatever versus controlling the objective, it's like a little more situational. But, if you're worried about like a what do you call it? An alpha strike. You know, you deploy on the objectives, and then you know they're like, okay, I'm taking the first turn. You're like, Defenders of the Realm, baby, here we go. You know, do your worst, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or like it could be battle plan dependent too. Like let's say you're playing Fountains, or sorry, not Fountains of Frost, the Ice Fields, where
Right.
you're like, I don't really want to be running a whole lot, and because like most of the map is objectives anyway, maybe you do want to add one to save rules instead, because
Yep.
almost everything is going to be on an objective of some kind.
That's true.
And if you know you're not going to be utilizing the +1 to run, it's kind of like a wasted trait.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, and I mean, we don't know if they're gonna have like if the current book has run and charge in there. We don't know if the next one's gonna have that, and who knows? Like, you know, pick one of the following delusions. So you probably only get one, but you know, a lot of books have ways of interacting where you can, you know, get multiples of different things. So it's a possibility that you won't just be picking one anyway. Um, like Lotan, for example, in Deepkin, even that old ass book that doesn't have all the new bells and whistles, like Lotan, just pick another ritual. You get another one, you know, so that's pretty cool. Maybe they'll do something like that. Not with Lotan though. I don't think you can take him and get another delusion, but I like that model, so I wouldn't be against it.
Yep.
Cool that the buff you choose lasts the whole battle. None of this. You get this for this first battle round, and then it goes away. Yeah, that's so true. Like frickin' Cruel Boys or whatever. It's like, yeah, your dirty trick, like -1 to wound. You're like, oh my god, that's so awesome and so powerful for the first battle round. Yeah, you're probably not going to see much of that. You're like, god dang it. Yeah, and it's still like the best one too, right? Yeah, but
Overall thoughts on the previewed rules, though?
I like him. I am, you know, I'm not a tournament player, so I don't know how I would feel about this if I were a tournament player. And again, full disclosure, obviously we don't know the whole rules set yet, so we're only looking at a piece of it. So, you know, by its nature, we don't have the full picture. But as someone who really likes it when the feel of the army matches the lore, like sorry, the rules, you know, matches the way that the army, like, you feel like they should feel. The delusions, you know, noble deeds and that kind of thing. I love it. Like, it's so thematic, and that is very me. And also, I just want to say too, like, what I kind of realized, you know, so I remembered they showed off Gourmain on a Monday, right, with his wig and everything like that. And it struck me so funny. Like, I don't know the guy's rules yet, but I'm gonna get him because that model is hilarious. I bought Lotan the day he came out, and his rules were the poopiest rules that have ever been in Age of Sigmar, arguably. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, anyone who saw him back in the day, he didn't do anything. It was so bad. Anyway, putting that aside, they came out and they showed Gourmain, and I loved him so much from the moment I saw him, because he's so funny. The juxtaposition between his goofy, you know, demeanor, the wig and the gavel, and you know what I mean, like the whole thing. And I'm just like, that's why I like Skaven, right? It's because it's funny and silly, and but still, like, it still has like a nugget of coolness and originality and that kind of thing, right? And I remember, like, when I saw it, I was like, it reminded me of Skaven. I was like, that's why I got into them in, you know, in 2019 or 2020 or whenever I first started collecting FEC. I was like, it just struck this, you know, chord with me that just made me laugh, and it also got my creative juices flowing. I've got like 4 different characters. You know, I've got a king guy that I have named. I have his name's King Percival Longbottom the Third, and then his subtitle is Raiser of Fancy Dogs. Okay, he's like a southern gentleman, but a king, if you will. And then I've got here, one second, I'll pull them up. I already told you guys about Queen Penelope the Radiant. Don't forget her subtitle. And then who else do I have? I have Sir Reginald Happenstance, collector of fine objects. He will be an abhorrent archregent. And then Sir Oswald Oscarmeyer, Knight of the Shining Cloud and Opera Board Chairman. He likes to go around singing the Oscar Mayer Wiener song, but in a beautiful soprano voice.
It's really touching, actually.
It is. He's like a true lover of the opera, and that's going to be
Oscar Mayer Wiener.
Exactly, and I mean, who isn't? But that's going to be my gore warden, by the way, because it kind of looks like he's singing. That's where the idea came from. He's probably supposed to be screeching or something like that. But in my head, I hear the Oscar Mayer Wiener song coming over a beautiful soprano, and then the day I came, exactly right. He sings it like a love ballad. He's like, "If I were an Oscar Mayer Wiener," you know what I mean, like that. The whole day, after I came up with that, I was singing the Oscar Mayer Wiener song around my house and driving everyone crazy. But like singing it like a love ballad to my wife, it was the dumbest thing I've ever done. But I enjoyed myself immensely.
I'm sure she enjoyed it just as much as you did.
At first, she did.
Yeah, then after hour 3, she seemed to really be annoyed.
Yeah, what is up with that, guys? Like, get a freaking sense of humor, am I right? Oh, man. Yeah, Mason. What's up, Mason? Dude. Oh, man. Yeah, if you want, man, let's review them together, man. Mason, friend of the channel, thanks for joining us in the chat there.
I will happily sit quiet with my mic muted while both of you talk about FEC when the book comes out.
Like, yeah.
I'll just like.
I mean, you say that, but you and I did the Seraphon review together, and like, you did your research, and you were very, very like contributor. I can't speak right now.
Thanks, man.
I'm gonna get some water.
All right, sounds good. Mason already has secrets on FEC. Oh no. Oh no. Mason, yeah, I remember at Sparkle Party, like when Cities of Sigmar was announced, Mason came up with this like crazy list tech for Cities of Sigmar with all the chariots and whatnot, and everyone just saw it, and he almost won the tournament with it. I think Matthias was the only one that was capable of like swatting him down, and that was literally the last game. So I'm excited, but also terrified to see what you come up with, Mason.
Yeah, he came up with that elf list.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, the reason I couldn't speak because my mouth was so dry, it was just like it's like glue in my mouth. Rob, his original rules did do stuff. It slowed the game down while you rolled 6 different melee profiles. That's true. He's right. Also, Keith, if you remember, the boats did the same thing. That's all they were there for. Was you just put them down, and they're an obstacle for your opponent because my whole army flies and yours don't. By the way, we're talking about IDK, and he's talking about Lotan. Ledivicus, Rob is sure mentioning poop a little extra. Rob is sure mentioning poop a little extra tonight. Coincidence after Carson's experience with a porcelain god last weekend. I can neither confirm nor deny. I'm just trying to keep it somewhat quote unquote clean, but I am more talk of hype, so I will live up to my appropriate, I'm planning on investing into FEC pretty hard. Yes. I'll start prepping my notes. Have secrets. Excellent. I will be doing the same. I'm going super hard into FEC. I've got my paint scheme all picked out. I love it. Yeah, man. I'm super jazzed. Yeah, I haven't, the last time I got this into a new army I was pretty into Gits, but I think the last time was probably IDK. It's just the funniness of it, and it's got my creative juices flowing in a way that most armies just aren't able to do. Also the conversion, like that was something that attracted me to begin with. Was I almost didn't get into them because I was like, look at that charnel throne, like it's so ugh. And then I was like, but what if I chop it all up? And it's like my favorite conversion I've ever done now. But FEC have the coolest lore, one of the most AOS armies out there. I couldn't agree more. I think, like, of anything in AOS, like, I still think Skaven are the most creative thing they've ever created, but they were created back in 1993 or before that, actually, technically. They came out in 1993, but they were created in the fantasy days for fantasy, and then they got ported over, Not a lot has actually remained mostly intact. Like, ogres, kind of, are one of them, I think. Somewhat. They kind of got some new... Anyway, FEC, though, even though like the original models were 100% just old Strigoi vampires, man, like, whoever came up with that is a freaking genius. And I agree. Like, it's the most creative thing they've ever done since Skaven, for sure. At least since Skaven. Yeah. But
I think all of the like AOS created factions are pretty cool as far as lore goes. Like,
yeah.
Like IDK has some really cool lore.
That's true.
Even KO has like really, really cool lore.
They do.
I like how like sky capitalist they are, essentially. Like, just, no god, no kings, only money. the gods like abandon them at the end of the old world. Like, if you read I think it's Shadow of the Horned Rat, at the end they literally take off into the sky, and it's like anathema to them, but then it's how they survive. But yet IDK, IDK and FEC for AOS lore is the best, man. But even like some of the factions that aren't wildly cool, like, what's a faction that doesn't have the most developed lore? Fire Slayers?
Oh yeah, that's true. Although, yeah. Okay, fine.
Okay,
fine. We got one bad faction. I mean, what? I'm just kidding, guys.
Ever Dwarves? Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably one of the lazier conversions over to AOS for sure. But like Gets, for example, like, they haven't really developed them that much. They just kind of went with like, oh, well, you've got these different sub-factions within Gits, and they play as one big giant army, but then, they worship the Bad Moon in different ways. And like, it's cool, but it's not like they went too crazy. But if you compare them to Night Goblins, they're far more interesting, right? Like, what's Night Goblins thing? It's like, well, they exist. They, there's lots of them, and they come out at night, and I don't know.
And they're goblins.
They are goblins. Yeah, not the most creative things they've ever made. Some dwarfs dig deep. Those dwarfs get high. Hey,
Moon.
Not bad, man. Your large complained that none of the units have any amount of armor or pageantry to paint them like the Delusion. That's an interesting idea. I almost think using all cities models could be cooler. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of doing my own thing with green stuff, but it's really hard. And I'm hoping that, speaking of which, I meant to check on Queen Penelope the Radiant. Yeah. I'll have to see once it's painted up, 2 models plus a new war cry.
Talking about Fire Slayers.
Oh, okay. 2 models plus a new war cry. Yeah.
Response to Warpstone Enjoyer's comment, who said, "Can you really call Fire Slayers an army with just 2 models?"
God dang. Shots fired. Yeah. Neither one of you were wrong.
You got the Magmadroth and you got the Diapered Warp. And
yep.
Those are the 2 models.
That's true. One of these things is not like the other. Do we know did Magmadroths rather come out in AOS, or no? That must have come out in AOS, right? There's no way that was a fantasy thing. They definitely came out before I showed up, I think, or I didn't notice because I didn't care. Yeah, when did the Magmadroth release? Have they shown the sub-factions yet? And they have not. And the other question that I have, too, is... So, I know the fluff behind Blister Skin Gristlegore, which I already went into, and I know that Hollowmorn are like the noble knights and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if, because Usharan is like a king, maybe he'll be in there, right? But like I don't know what Morgaunt is. Like Morgaunt, I feel like is like the main faction. It's almost like the Iron Rock, so maybe he'll be in there. But like it would be more like apropos of Hollowmorn to have him be in the sort of knightly royal subfaction. But obviously, I'm still hoping that he's a general use everything. But yeah, they haven't shown. Hopefully, hopefully either we keep the 4 that we had, or they add and they add more, or they don't. Anyway, I hope they don't, have any less, because 4 is kind of like the minimum, right?
I kind of hope that it isn't too many, just because, especially just coming off of the Cities of Sigmar book, which had like 11. That was a lot
Yeah,
to
that's
like
too
parse. And
That's
sometimes it's kind of nice for a book to have, a toolbox to pull from for sure.
Right.
But like a relatively small set of tools.
Well,
And it definitely seems like they're adding some new units to kind of like increase the size of that toolbox. But I hope it's not too complicated.
what do most factions have? Like, how many are in ogres?
6.
There you go. So maybe we'll get 6. I think IDK are 6, right? Iron Rock, Brion Mar.
I think 6 is the standard size.
Morphine, yeah, right? I would like 6. I would love to have 6. It's not 6. You don't think 6? Sean isn't faction locked. I agree. Yeah, like hopefully he's more like Thanquol, right, Keith? Although I guess there's no subfactions. Yeah, and I guess Volturnos. Well, no, Volturnos isn't. Like that's kind of the cool thing, right? He's the High King, right? So he's in everything. That's better. That's definitely better. I totally agree. But I'm just saying, like, he's also not a monk, right? He's not a monk, so he won't be Gristlegore if he's in anything. He's not a priest, so he won't be in Blisterskin, right? Yeah. But who knows? Hopefully he's like he's a Volturnos, not a what's another faction locked named character?
Catacross.
Oh right, yeah, Catacross. Yeah, hopefully he's not another Catacross.
Yeah.
For more than one reason.
Exactly. We got enough endless duty around here.
Nurgle jokes. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're just offering
I think
up
most
your sacrifice and prayer to Nurgle, lest he strike you down again like he did a week yonder.
Yeah. There's no Nurgle in the top 8 at that tournament, but my God,
was he represented?
Nurgle won.
Oh man. Oh, Nephi, Manfred, good call. Scragrot, yeah. Dang it. I'm starting to get thinking that he's going to be faction locked. It seems like there's a lot more faction locked than not faction locked. Like,
I struggle to think of ones that aren't, to be honest.
Yeah. Volturnos, I'm pretty sure. He might have Iron Rock now. I don't remember. He wasn't before. I remember his lore was he was High King. One of the firstborn of the Sithai. But then, like, let's go through it. Like, Croak isn't. He's neither Starborn nor Coalesced, nor any of the other ones. What else we got? Is Marathi faction locked?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know why I'm keep picking armies that I don't know anything about. I'm just going with whatever comes to mind. Fire Slaters don't have any like main ones. Oh, Belthanos. Belthanos, right, Cody. Good call. Belthanos, is he
Bellicor?
Bellicor?
Oh no, Bellicor is.
Is he? What's the subfaction for him? Yeah, I knew what you meant, Cody. I literally was. I had it on. I don't think Belthanos is faction locked though. I think he's already out too. So Almost all the SC uniques. God dang, I forgot about that, including Bastion.
Bellacor's faction lock, Legion of the First Prince. It's
Oh,
literally
right.
his
That's true.
faction.
It's his faction. That makes sense, right?
But Marathi, I don't think is.
Marathi is
Just
not,
as
hey?
it's just Order, Daughters of Cain, Elf, Hero, Wizard, Marathi Cain.
Sylvaneth, Free Spirits. That's not a sub faction. So Kurnoth Hunters, no. Yeah, okay. Maybe there's more than we kind of thought, right? Um, let us find. Oh gosh, actually, you know what's funny is I used to go to the Games Workshop website whenever I wanted to kind of organize my thoughts and like figure out what I was, you know, what was what, and now that seems like a huge mistake.
Nagash.
Nagash is he? What about in not no BR?
Because he's at. Well, no, he's just like
Oh,
also
Arkan.
Arc in the back.
Yeah.
I thought he was Null Myriad, wasn't he?
Yes, I'm almost positive he is. That's a great call. Yeah.
But Nagash, I'm pretty sure he's just not because he has his own war scroll in every
He does. Yeah.
faction's book, so it wouldn't make sense for him to be locked to a faction.
This is a good point. Let's see if I can find. Okay, so order. Learn more. Do I have to? What is this? This website is so bad. I can't get over it. Ugh. Okay. Cities of Sigmar. Does Talia have one? The one on
Vetra?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I have the city's book. One sec, be right back.
Oh, sick. Okay, so we'll wait for Carson to do that. Daughters, Marathi doesn't, according to Carson. Fire Slayers, not important, or, not relevant. Deepkin, I'm pretty sure Volturnos is not faction locked. KO don't have any. Oh, do they have any? Is Techless? Ooh, I don't think Techless has anything. I know Croak doesn't. Stormcast is almost all faction locked. And Alariel is not. I'm fairly confident. So far in order, mostly not faction locked there. That's interesting. Then we got Death. Flesh Eater Courts we don't know about. Lady Allender I don't think is faction locked, nor Kurdos.
Talia is faction locked to Hammer Hall.
Oh!
Aksha?
Okay.
Pontifex Zenestra is
also faction locked?
Is Devoted of Sigmar
Hmm.
a sub-faction, or is that just a random other keyword?
It sounds like one, but I'm not. If you expect me to memorize 11 sub-factions for an army that I don't play and have no interest in.
I feel like it's not. I feel like... Why is there a Devoted of Sigmar?
Maybe it's...
that interact with?
Yeah, maybe it's like Kurnoth Hunters for Belthanos.
Maybe, yeah, but Flagellants also have it.
Flatulence?
Flatulence.
I'm a child. Ossiarch definitely do, and Bone Reaper or Soulblight Gravelords are all, like, everything is faction locked, so that's kind of interesting. Gosh darn it. Oh, I didn't need to go back on the website.
I should probably redeem the code from this book as well. I forgot that this book actually released now.
Oh, yeah. Are you planning on playing them?
I'm still undecided. I'm still undecided.
That too.
I have like the starter box, but that's it. So like I think it comes with like an Alchemite Warforger, the Relic Envoy, 5 Cavaliers, and then 20 Steel Helms, which
right.
I haven't even really done like list construction or anything like that. And to be honest, I'm not planning on buying a whole bunch of models anytime soon. So short answer, no, currently. Fair. I'm not going to play them, but like I might pick them up at some point in the future. It's all new models, which I really appreciate. They're all great sculpts. So
they really are. Yeah. They seem like your kind of army. You know?
Maybe. But thinking about painting an entire army from scratch again is not doing it for me.
Oh,
I
okay.
think probably I'll keep the I'll keep I'll keep the paint scheme simple. I think.
Right.
But I haven't decided on what I want to paint them like yet, and I've got so much of a painting backlog that I'm like,
You mean your Slaves to Darkness?
yeah, and also like I'm finishing up my mob pit. I want to paint the Gorgers. I want to paint the Slaves to Darkness, but
Hmm.
I don't know.
Also, you're
We'll see.
working on a new display board.
Yeah, but that's like time boxed to.
Yep,
That'll be done in the next month and a half. So
that's true. But it is another thing that you are planning
yeah,
on doing. So
I also feel like I'm the ogres guy now. I can't play anything else except ogres
you
at tournaments.
are, but you know, presumably at some point there is a limit to, you know what I mean? Like you want to have the ability to do something else. I mean, you have slaves obviously, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I think like I'm probably just gonna stick on painting what I have, ogres and slaves until AOS 4 comes out, and then when AOS 4 comes out, I feel like things are gonna shake up so much that maybe something else will catch my attention. So
Right. Yeah, that's true.
yep.
Like whatever, I mean, unless it's Stormcast, whatever else is in the launch box, right?
Well, not even just another army, but it could be like maybe slaves interacts with the AOS 4 rules way better,
Right.
and it makes them a much more fun army to play. Maybe Cities of Sigmar is the same way, and yeah, Keith says the limited starter box is just shy of 600 points. Okay, so I could play like a Path to Glory intro with it or something.
Yep.
And then he
That's
also
true.
says, "You are not the ogres guy. You are the guy who did awesome with ogres and is allowed to play whatever army he wants to without needing to justify it." Well, no, thank you.
That's awfully sweet. You're wrong. He's the ogre's guy, and that's all he's allowed to play, though. But
Have you seen my background? I'm the ogre.
I mean, you could be like some kind of cannibal slaves to darkness army as well.
That's true.
It's human, the other white meat.
Yum.
Yum. It'll go well with my flesh eater coins. um, yeah. Oh, here, one second. Let's put it back on a cool background. Try and get that thumbnail to pop up as cool art. I expect to see him show up to next year's event in a vest made of steaks. Challenge accepted. Or just bacon. I feel like sewing raw bacon together is probably easier than steaks. It's also lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but steaks is better.
That's
What I'll
true.
do is I'll do the vest made of steaks, and then I'll have a bacon bow tie. Yeah.
I would love to see that.
And if I think I got food poisoning this year, my God, next year
I know.
I'm going to be walking food poisoning.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
I'm just like slapping the vest, and like meat juices are getting all over everyone.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
have to make some kind of salmonella theme song or something.
Yeah. Great game, friend. Shake my hand. They're like,
Oh man.
no.
Oh, that gives me the heebie-jeebies. Ugh. Oh man, people will
Yeah.
love on day 2 and 3. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I mean, for the foreseeable future, obviously you are the ogre guy, but like you could, it's like Sean Connery after he was playing James Bond. Like you might want to kind of break out of that mold at some point too. You might not. Like obviously
Yeah,
the plan is ogres for, or I think the plan is still ogres for LVO.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way I could get enough of any other army painted in time. And that's kind of the other big thing too, is that like I've got a lot of back burner stuff that I'm slowly building up to be able to actually field 2,000 points of a different army. So until
Right.
that happens, I kind of have to play ogres anyway.
Right.
But
Yeah.
to be able to choose would be nice. Like,
Well, that's it. Yeah.
yeah,
Also, I did know that, but because we're building that the thing together, but I was like, maybe he didn't want everyone to know that he's definitely playing ogres. So I was like, yeah, maybe you might not play ogres, But yeah,
no, that's what I think. I think people know I'm bringing ogres to LVO for sure. I gotta defend my title.
That's true.
Yeah, I think they do a thing for like ITC points best in faction and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that'd be cool to be there in person for that. Assuming someone doesn't bring ogres to LVO and like absolutely sweep me out of top spot.
Some hidden tech, you know. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if any of us have seen further than others, it's by standing on the shoulders of giants, right? So,
What a nice thing to say.
yeah.
What a nice thing to say. Keith says another option is find some fabric that is meat print and get an outfit tailored out of that. That's true. Or you could just wear a chef's apron and hat. That's also true. There was a guy at
These are all great ideas, by the way.
Yeah.
But what
There's-
before I forget, you need to get
Yeah.
a cape made out of meat print with like a really high collar and like a gold chain, like a gold clasp.
like a meat vampire. Like
Yeah. And then you could like, you know, across your. I mean,
knock over
it's
like
more.
all of my models. Like,
It's fine. They're ogres.
not again. Not again.
Oh man, I hope you do it.
Yeah, I got to figure out something. There's one guy who brought ogres, Gabriel Koba, to the World Championships, and he had this like really cool custom like gut plate that he had made. And his ogres are all like Nurgle converted and stuff like that. So he's like gut plate was fitting that as well, and I thought that was super cool. I've seen a couple other people do the gut plate thing too, but usually it just looks like one of those like circle toboggans that's just been like spray painted chrome or something. But his was actually really good quality, and it was like proportioned to him. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone just takes like an old trash can lid and just beats it into a circle and straps it to their belly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, if you're going for a cape, it has to be a mustache print. Yep. These are all fantastic ideas. I feel like Keith should be charging for them.
thank God he isn't.
Thank God. Too
Thanks
late.
for the ideas,
Yeah. You must be able to get like meat print fabric though, hey? Like, and you could if it's a cape, you could probably just make it yourself, right? Or a toga, meat toga.
Mitoga.
Me too. And a hand carved bone monocle. Whoa. Damn. That's a great idea. I saw it in a fabric shop.
Who can hand carve bone?
Yeah. Yeah. It exists. I saw it in a fabric shop and asked who the heck would buy that. Carson, that's who. Oh man. Yeah. I'm trying to resist like Googling it right now. Meat fabric.
I feel like if you went to like Fabricland or Dresso or something, they probably have something like that.
Yeah, I went out to Fabricland to make my table, like, or not to make my table, but like to get this sort of faux leather vinyl stuff that wraps around the board that everything sits on. And I don't remember seeing any meat fabric, but they have a lot of stuff out there, man. Like, yeah. It's possible for sure.
Yep, that's very true.
And the fabric land in Langley, you have to drive right past this like fresh farm honey like place or something.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say like freshly manured farm or something like that. They always freshly.
I mean, that's
change
not
up.
wrong. I'm pretty sure I did drive right alongside a few more than one farm to get out there. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though. I mean, there might be I think there's a fabric land like somewhere else, like in Richmond or, you know what I mean? Like maybe even downtown, but.
It's South Vancouver. Yeah, it's like right on the
Oh, is it?
border of Richmond and Vancouver. Yeah.
Ah, that's why. And I was just like
Southwest Marine Drive kind of area.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I could either drive for 40 minutes city driving or I can drive on the highway, and I chose the highway. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just more.
that's fair.
Yeah. First result of Google Meat Fabric. Etsy has steak shirts. What?
Ooh.
Damn.
I did recently go to Etsy to get some. So I bought a new bag to like be able to fly with more properly,
Hmm.
and I borrowed Kenrick's bag, who's been on the channel a couple times, and he's in our club as well. And that bag was like perfect for carry on. And I noticed he had this iron-on patch, which is like the "This is fine" meme of like the dog sitting in the middle of the fire. Um, and I really like that idea of just like doing iron-on patches to your battle foam cases. So I ordered one that was literally just like a red square that says meat in the center, and then like a tiny barbecue next to it as well. So
It's
that's
so
gonna be,
awesome.
yeah. And then I'm sure I'll find like other ones that I like that I'll iron on as well. So, but I like the idea of that, just like adding new patches to your bag.
Yeah, I think that's a lot better. Like, so I used to travel a lot, going to school and whatnot, and so what I did was I had one. I didn't have a hard case. I had like a one of those fabricy kind of case, you know, suitcases rather. And
Yep.
someone said like, you know, I wanted to find some patches like a Canadian flag or something like that. But I was like, that even that is not uncommon. This is a while ago, so I actually bought some fabric paint and I just painted a bunch of stuff on there. You know what I mean? And it worked great. Lasted forever. Yeah,
Nice.
but
Yeah, anything to differentiate your luggage for sure.
yeah,
I
yeah,
dread the day though that like if I have to try and get on a plane and they're like, "Sorry, sir, you have to check that carry-on," I will fight them. Like,
yeah.
if
Right,
it's my army, like
right.
I don't even know. Like I feel like I would just have to frankly say like I can't. Like
Yeah,
with what's in here, like I just simply cannot. Like please find someone else.
I remember when Vince Venturella was flying over to do the Golden Demon thing for I think it was the first time, it might have been the second time. He had like a magnetic carry-on case with all his like, literal Golden Demon
Demon
winning,
winning, yeah.
yeah, models. And I think he had some kind of similar story where they were just like, and he kind of had to open it up and show them everything that was in there. He was like, I'm not, gonna do that, but
Yeah, I'll miss the flight before I check this bag, kind of thing.
yeah, I mean, like, sure, yeah, you might like miss a however many $100 flight, but then by the same token, like how many, thousands of
Thousands of
dollars,
hours.
yeah,
Yeah,
and thousands of hours you spent painting it. It's not worth it to just have them.
it's yeah, it's not even the money of the models of the case, or it's like literally the time that you've spent, like
Exactly.
that you've invested into this army. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. There's no amount of money that someone could pay me. That's not true, but it would be a lot of money. Someone's like, "Here's $2 million." I'd be like,
Oh,
"It's yours.
yeah, yeah,
It's yours."
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but still, it's terrifying to think about.
It really is. It gives any nerd, who's been into this hobby for any amount of time, cold sweats, I'd imagine, as it does me. Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about something a little happier.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, okay. So we've got Dawn, not Dawnbringers. We've got Flesh Eater Courts coming out soon, right? AOS
coming
4.
out Dawnbringers.
What's that?
I think the Flesh Eater Quartz is Dawnbringers. I think.
Well,
Like Summer King or something.
they're both. Like they're getting their own battle tome that's going to
Yeah,
come
yeah.
in that box. But then there's also Dawnbringers, whatever they said. But I was trying to basically ask whether do we think that there will be another army book before AOS 4, or are we just getting Dawnbringers until then?
I think it's just Dawnbringers
I think so too, right?
because there's no other army that is missing a book anymore, right?
Exactly.
And they're not just going to be like, surprise, end of the edition, new army. Like, I don't think they would do that.
I don't think
So,
so either, right? I
yeah.
I was told by someone who may want to remain anonymous. I'm not sure that like apparently they will like they have sort of big sort of slots for armies to kind of go into, and then they can and will like move things around to a certain extent. So they were kind of saying like if something isn't ready for the launch edition, they might to fill time release an army ahead of time. But like going into a new edition, it feels like that would be more difficult to do because like an army book would have to be written for one edition or the other, right? And obviously that's a lot faster than like an entire range of models to design and manufacture, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious as to like what the changes are actually going to be for AOS 4 though, because
Yeah.
I I can't see them making any like huge changes.
Agreed.
I think probably what they're going to do is we're going to see some of the stuff that worked in the GHBs uh throughout this edition
Right.
just made finalized, and then maybe some key systems, or hopefully some key systems, get like some revisals like terrain and some other stuff. So
Well,
yeah,
I have actually heard from another person who may or may not want to remain anonymous that it is going to be a big change. Like they're kind of not going back to the drawing board, but like it's going to be a pretty big change. Like there
it's
are,
kind of scary because
it is
things are
scary,
really good right now.
dude. It's the game is practically perfect in every way. It's the Mary Poppins of wargaming, and you know there is one thing that I would love for them to change. Like one major system that I want them to change is measuring your attack radius, like in melee. Like just do 40k, like front rank, second rank, you know, if they have spears, third rank, or I don't care. I want to count. I don't want to measure. I don't want to bend my back over at 90 degrees to figure out whether 11 clan rats get to attack or 12. You know what I mean? Like I just want to enjoy myself, you know?
That's true. That's one of the clunkier systems for sure. Especially the more models you have, it's like,
Yeah.
and it can create a lot of contention where you're like, actually like and
Yeah.
like you'll never really know because like you have to hold a 2-inch measuring thing
Yeah.
above the models, which is kind of a pain. So
Yeah, anytime you're floating a measuring tool above models, like literally above them in any way, shape, or form, it's not accurate, and it's just not even close to accurate. So,
yeah,
but that's just what I heard too. Like I don't, you know, I agree though on the whole. Okay, then next question: do we foresee, or how many more Dawnbringer books do we foresee? Like surely that the FEC Dawnbringer book that's coming out with FEC is going to be the last one of the year. So then that's what, the fourth one, I want to say. And also what other models are coming with it? Like we've gotten new models with every release.
I don't know.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe they'll do something where it's like they'll just pick a couple of the models from the FEC book and give them rules in the Dawnbringer book.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be a Army Renown or something.
Oh,
which would be kind of
probably.
weird,
Probably. Maybe for like the Gore Warden or something like that, or a Vargeist.
yeah.
You know?
But like, yeah, we don't. There's no roadmap that has been released for next year for AOS so far. So, like what we have, I'm just looking at the Age of Sigmar roadmap for 2023. It ends with Dawnbringers 4, basically. That's the
Right.
that's the last thing that we know of. So I don't know if they've ever said like how many Dawnbringers things there are going to be.
I think the original prediction was 5, or was it something like that, by a lot of people. And I think that's probably based on however many we got for whatever it was, whatever we got for Forgotten Realms. I remember. Do you remember how many we got for that? There was Kragnos, Morathi,
Be'lakor.
Teclis. Was there only 4?
Did you say 5?
No, well, I was just saying, like, I was trying to say the predictions were generally matching Forgotten
No,
Realms.
I'm saying, didn't you say 5 names though? Teclis, Morathi, Kragnos, Be'lakor.
I think I only said 4.
Oh, my bad. I can't keep.
That's very, if I said 5 names, that would be it would definitely play into my delusions. I'll just put it down to my old FEC delusions. Tell you what, 40k 10th is base to base with enemy and base to base with those who are base to base with enemy. Yes, they have to be within half, or is it? Maybe it is base to base. It used to be like half an inch within half an inch, and now I think maybe it's just base to base. So like up to 2 deep. And I mean, it's a melee game, right? So like if spears are, you can fight 3 ranks deep instead of 2, that sounds rad, and I would like that. I would like it that my personal hope would be swords are follow the normal rules. They've got like profile A. Spears have the same profile, but they just get to fight 1 extra deep, and you pay however many more points for them. You know what I mean? Almost like an upgrade, but you're taking them as whole units instead. That way it's more like, I don't know. It's just kind of more. It's just easier to. I don't know. Like, there's always this debate in every freaking group about like, do I take swords or spears? And there's usually a right answer, and I don't know. That just doesn't feel as good. I would rather have a reason. Like, there's no army where you're like, okay, I'm gonna take some models in spears and some models in swords. You know what I mean? Like, it's always like there's a right answer, and so you just see the one thing anyway. Whereas if they're different points and one's better than the other, then sometimes you will and sometimes you won't. It depends on whether you have the points or not. I don't know. Rant.
Yep.
Semi over. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember us having a similar conversation before they released the new General's Handbook that we're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I said almost the exact same thing, which is like, things are in a really good spot. I'm kind of worried.
That's true. I remember that. Yep.
And I wouldn't say it's, actually I would say it's better. I think they actually made it better with the new General's Handbook.
I agree.
So now I'm even more afraid that if they're going to be doing like these big sweeping changes, rather than like iterating on what they know works, it's going to be kind of a bad situation in AOS 4. So
that's
fingers
true.
Crossed that that's not the case, and fingers crossed that the big sweeping changes are for things that people don't really like or that are clunky.
Right.
But yeah.
But you know what's funny though too is it's like we're so worried about things changing. We were so worried about things changing in the new GHB, and we're like, this is even better, and we keep saying that. Ever since Bounty Hunters ended in AOS, we're like, this keeps getting better and better, and we're still like, please don't change it. You know what I mean?
I like change, but I'm just afraid that.
No, I agree. I know. I'm totally there with you. I just think the irony is funny, where we're kind of going like, don't change it, and then they change it. And are like, oh no, this is actually better, and like, but still, don't change it anymore. And like they change it, like, oh, this is actually better too. Like, but we're still not changing. But then again, there is a difference here. We are going into a new edition. We know that there's going to be changes. Like, we know this for sure, right? Because they make changes for the sake of changes to justify having a new edition, right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
There's only one thing that I don't think they're going to remove, and that's the double turn.
I hope not. I genuinely hope not.
Yep, I agree. I've come to.
That's been one of my favorite things, because it just has like such a huge rippling effect in list building, in just the way that you play the game.
Yep.
Yeah, it's huge.
It really is, and I don't like. Before I was more against it than I am now. Originally, I was mostly just against it because I didn't want. Like, it was kind of scaring people away from the game in a lot of ways. And AOS was sort of the ugly stepchild compared to 40K. And I wanted it to be as successful as I thought it deserved, is how I would try and explain my thoughts. But now, because of their success in game design in Age of Sigmar in particular, and I think it's so much better than 40K now, I think a lot of people have kind of come around on it, once they've sort of comprehended how it's used and the depth that you can get out of the double turn system. I still think it has its problems. I still think that the incentivization is a major issue. Some battle plans they really make you think about, okay, do I want to kill stuff or do I want to score points and play this scenario. But for the most part, I don't think that they've quite reached it. You know what I mean? It would be nice if they wrote into the core rules a better system than just one extra command point. You know what I mean? But we'll see if they can.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
The double turn mechanic is kind of unique to AOS, and it's very unique to AOS. I completely agree. Yeah. I'm sure it's already written and decided. It is absolutely, Keith. We're not trying to like skew them in any way, shape, or form. It's probably
Not that they would listen to us.
not that they would listen to us anyway. Yeah, but like even in that fantasy world where they do, they probably finished the rules before 40K 10th edition even released. Like so, and then they were testing and rewriting and figuring things out. But yeah,
because you got to think like the intro box that's coming. They also have to create
yep
battle tomes for those. They have to be they basically have to be planning like all of the army releases that'll be following AOS 4 coming out.
Exactly.
And those take like years probably.
Well, yeah, and I mean like so like the box and like I mean how many months in advance do they have to have all the books printed in hand, put in and packaged into the boxes and whatnot and all prepped to go? Like it has to be months and months. They can't screw up like they have before, right? They can't have a shortage. Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
Here's hoping they don't poop the bed. Another poop joke or another poop reference.
But they we've got at least 6 months until then, I think.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we're going to be seeing anything about AOS 4 until the summer of next year.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, the earliest would be like late June. Most of the time they seem to release in early July. They have done stuff, I'm pretty sure, in late June at some point, but yeah.
Yeah, and they did say like that this GHB is going to last us a year, and it came out in early July.
I'm assuming that's to like kind of keep resources, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. So like, we're in November. We're at the end of November. Let's just say early.
7 months away.
7 months, right? Yeah. Yeah. Or is it 8 months?
So counting ahead 1 month, basically.
Oh yeah, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, you're right. Right on. 7 months, and a little bit, assuming it's early July. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good call. So, it feels like a long way off, but it's really not.
Kind of does feel a long way off though, because like think about what's happened in the last 7 months. 7 months ago was what month was that? The fourth month, April?
Yeah.
So we would have seen, I think, was it Slanesh and Korn? They got new books in that time? Or
7
Zeech?
months would be May, right? Because we're basically counting like we're at the start of December, right?
That's true.
So
I guess like what would have happened is like some books would have just come out. I can't remember what it was. It was like KO or there's some like Chaos book or something.
Yeah, there was Slanesh and Korn came out around there. I think it was
maybe OBR or Soulblight.
They came out. Oh geez, I can't remember now.
So something had just come out basically
after. Yeah, they came out after Korn and Slanesh. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but then we had a huge Seraphon overhaul.
Right.
A huge Cities overhaul.
Right.
And now FEC is like on the verge of coming out, essentially. Yeah, so that's a lot of stuff that's happened in 7 months. And for effectively, like in the next 7 months, we're going to see FEC actually come out.
Yep.
And then that's probably going to happen in the next 2 months, like fully come out. I mean, they're standalone book. And then just Dawnbringers for like 5 months,
but
essentially.
Like, this is so weird. We've had 4 Dawnbringer books, including the one that we haven't seen yet, right?
Yeah.
We know about 4 Dawnbringer books. We only got 4 Forgotten Realms books, I think. Are we going to see another, like, 4 Dawnbringer books? Like, are we going to have double the amount of books?
Possibly, yeah. Or maybe they're going to be relying a lot on, like, Warcry releases to kind of supplement, or Underworld's
right.
bans, or whatever they're called.
That's fair. Actually, I have a question for the chat. and for people watching later. Because I really like lore, but I don't find that I end up buying these Forgotten Realms and Dawnbringer books because they're expensive and like you get like one page of rules. So I usually just use the rules and I don't end up reading the stories. Do you guys think that the books are like, are they good? Is the lore good enough that it's worth reading? So A, is it worth reading? And B, is it good? So good at like, is it so interesting and fun to read that it's worth actually buying the books? Because like I'm kind of dying for some FEC lore, and there's like nothing in Black Library in Age of Sigmar. There's only like really old fantasy stuff with Usharan and whatnot, and that's not the same, right? Yeah. You usually wait for the 2+ tough video. Like, so yeah. I am right there with you. I haven't listened to him in quite some time, but I need to. He's just like the algorithm just kind of like shot him. They kind of sniped him out of my feed, unfortunately. So I should probably look him up and start watching his videos and giving thumbs up. By the way, if you guys are watching now or in the future, if you give the video a thumbs up, it's more likely to remind you that we're here. If I had given more thumbs up to Doug from 2+ Tough, I might still be getting his videos. So I'm going to have to go out of my way and do it. The Dawnbringer books, honestly, are some of the worst lore reading we've done. I sadly own all 3. God dang. What a scathing indictment of the lore. Okay, wait. Before... Ludivicus, are you a lore guy, though, right? Like, and I'm not like... And please don't feel pressured to say you are. Because, like, some people are like, like they only read... like they'll read novels, like they'll read like Dresden Files and like these big kind of names, like, you know what I mean, from bigger releases that come out now. But then when they try, but they don't necessarily get into like Age of Sigmar lore or 40K lore. So, Keith says, I enjoy reading them, but I am a big fluff nut who has enjoyed all the AOS lore since release. If you liked, the Realm Gate Wars, Keith, then yeah, you're kind of a glutton for punishment, kind of a masochist, frankly. But but bless you, man. I mean, you're helping keeping this franchise kicking, right? Broken Realms was 1,000% worth it. Now that they are like $10 a pop on eBay, I recently picked up those, and it was worth it. I'll do the same with Dawnbringers at the end of 4th edition. See, that's kind of what I'm thinking, Cody. Yeah. Ludivicus, I enjoy lore, but I'm not like a lore guru. Okay. I hear what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, man, that makes it tough to decide. More feedback, please. I like what I like. Shrug. No, I mean, I'm just teasing you, Keith. I know like 2+ Tough, super into the Realm Gate lores, read them all. He does like full breakdowns of all of them, which is thankful because they're very, they're kind of like I really like story in general. Like that's my biggest thing. And I liked Aquaman, and I wouldn't defend it to anyone ever. Like, I'm not saying it's like a good movie, but I really enjoyed watching it. I watched it with my family and I had fun. And I kind of think that that's what some AOS lore is like. There is some really good AOS lore out there, though. Like, the whole frickin' Deepkin battle tome, frankly. But yeah. It was really poorly written, in my opinion. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, totally fair, man. I mean, I don't want to waste my time. Like, I have a very limited amount of time, so that's why I'm asking, and I appreciate the feedback from everyone. I really wanted to get the series, but the value proposition is generally terrible. It's a $60 hardback brochure. Yeah, that's not wrong. What about you, Carson? Do you read the lore at all? Do you get into that kind of thing? No.
Yeah.
What about your ogres?
Yeah, I'll read my army books lore. I'll read through that sort of stuff. But like when it comes to Dawnbringers and stuff like that, like I haven't been reading the lore at all, unfortunately.
Me neither. Yeah. Consider watch Aquaman twice. Damn. Aquaman was fun, but yeah, it wasn't necessarily a good movie. Being a fan of Stormcast really helps to enjoy the. That's a great point. People who dislike them seem to find it very meh. That is exactly how I feel, Keith. But like, the Forgotten Realms and Dawnbringers don't seem to be shoehorning them in quite so much. So, it makes it more enticing. From what you've heard from Lord Breakdown's Broken Realms over Dawnbringers. Really? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Sorry. I was thinking of Realm Gate Wars for some reason. Dawnbringers just feels like there's not much broad impact. Okay. Yeah, I mean, do remember Forgotten Realms. Like, they basically almost killed Nagash. They almost kill Archon, or maybe they did. I'm not even sure. Teclis comes down. Lord Croak is kind of almost, he's seeing the future and, figuring out what Zeech is doing. And like, yeah, there was big plays. Morathi becomes an actual god. Like, that was probably the biggest thing that happened in there. And that's a big change, right? They're certainly mixing it up. Bless you.
Thank you. Also, while we've been talking about this, I've kind of been doing a little bit of research just because no one's really sure like how many Dawnbringers books there are going to be.
Okay.
And GW made a statement at the very beginning of all of this, where they basically said that over a dozen factions are going to be getting new models with the Dawnbringers campaign.
Oh.
And based on that, we can kind of like see where we're at.
Okay.
If they say over a dozen, I'd imagine it's like probably...
It's 13.
Yeah. 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to assume 13.
Yeah.
We know that we've gotten hits. We know we have FEC, Ogres, Stormcast, Sylvaneth, Fire Slayers for 6, Orc War Clans for 7, and Nurgle for 8. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting?
We don't know what we're going to see in the new FEC one.
Yeah.
So if we get 5 new models in there, then that's probably everything.
Yeah. Well, it says over a dozen armies.
Oh, that's totally different because Trug and Gitz were the same.
Yep. But I've counted 8 different armies.
Oh, armies. Okay.
Gitz and FEC already counted because remember they had that guy that like offered an infected bone to people.
Right.
That already happened.
That's true. Yeah, the Marrow Scroll Herald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got Gitz, FEC, Ogres, Stormcast, Sylvaneth, Fire Slayers, Orc War Clans, and Nurgle for 8.
Okay.
Which means we have at least 5 more armies worth of stuff coming, unless I'm forgetting anything.
Huh. But then what's the most is like 2 books.
2 more books.
Right? Unless we just don't get any new models for the FEC book, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
We're calling it the FEC book. It's just FEC on the front cover. And assuming like a lot of the lore is surrounding them, right?
Yeah, I'm curious if they're going to be including anything else in that book as well.
Oh, okay. Oh.
It's like maybe there's another faction in there that's like facing off against them. Like maybe cities will get a new model in there or something. But I don't think it's going to be more than like 1 other faction in there. So even if that's the case, even if we're generous and there's 2 other factions in that book other than FEC, we're at 10, which means there has to be at least like 1 or 2 more Dawnbringers books after this.
Right.
And they kind of been doing it like once a month-ish? Or no, every 2 months?
Every 2 months, yeah.
So then that kind of lines up.
So if we get something... But surely then it'll be... The next book will be in January. Like, I don't even think it's going to be in December. Because they have to show the models and then release them around the time of the book. And we haven't...
Cody says that all of the Death factions will get something in the FEC Dawnbringers book. Really? That's crazy.
Really?
So then that's 3 more, which is more than I thought.
Whoa. Well, don't forget. No. It's... Oh, I see what you're saying. Wait, have we gotten... You haven't gotten OBR so far?
Nope.
We haven't gotten Soulblight. And we haven't gotten... Oh, wow. So that would be 3 more. Whoa.
Yeah, and that would bring us to 11.
11.
Yeah.
So then, and then the final one, maybe it'll be 14 armies we get.
Unless they're doing something weird because I know that I've left out KO and I've left out Giants, because their releases didn't have models,
Right.
right? They were just armies of renown.
Did they? And they said models. They didn't say
It
rules.
said it says over a dozen factions
Uh,
getting new models with the Dawnbringers
okay.
campaign.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Final one has to be corn. I wonder. Why do you think that, Cody? That's interesting. I don't think
Predict that there's 6 Dawnbringer books total.
6. I like that number actually. I felt like Psychic Awakening had 5 or 6 books. And I just think that 6 is a nice kind of round number. But having said that, let's say we get 3 more in the FEC one. That takes us to 11. So then if you get another 3 new sets of models, I'm going to guess 5 books. I think that's like a... And then, there'll be like kind of like, let's say that's... I'm going to say that it's probably going to come... The next one's going to come in January, which means the next one's going to come in March. And then after that, it seems kind of superfluous anyway, because they're going to be amping up for AOS 4. Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I'm gonna lock in 5. I'm hoping it's the return of the priest for Seraphon. I would like that, or like I would love like a big model like Trug, some new dinosaur, like a long neck or like more like a Stegosaurus or something. Yeah,
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah. What do people in the chat think? How many books are we going to be seeing for Dawnbringers? Rob says 5. I say 6.
yeah. I hope you're right though. I want more. I'm being not a pessimist, but I'm doing this thing where I hedge my bets, where it's like, well, if it's 5 and I'm right, then hey, I'm right, but if it's more, which is what I really want, then I get it's kind of the best of both worlds. Yeah. It's more to be hype over. Am I right?
That's true.
Mr. Cool, I guess, has been built up too much to not be the main baddie in the 5th or 6th book. Oh, okay. I haven't been reading the lore, Cody, so I don't even know who Mr. Cool is, but I like his name. He sounds, kind of cool.
Oh. First name Razal?
Razal Cool. Yeah.
Or Sunjoy. Do you know what's more than 12?
Yeah, exactly.
Sunglasses and a rat emoji.
Oh man. I mean, dude, I think it was like Vince and them were the first ones to kind of say more than 12 means 13. And I always, anytime I hear the number 13, my brain goes to one place and to one place only.
Yeah. The Davika says, I think it's done at 4 despite your sound reasoning. So I think there's one situation in which it could actually be 4, which is that they made a mistake, or that maybe my research is wrong, where it's not that over a dozen factions are getting models, it's over a dozen factions are just getting something.
Right.
Because we're at 11. If there truly is like all of the death factions represented in this last book, that brings us to 11. But if King Broadstomp and the Expeditionary Force count, then that brings us to exactly 13, which is more than a dozen. So
interesting. Yeah. So is Gitz a faction? Or do they mean like sub-faction, like Trug versus Rabble Rouser? Like, I don't know.
I mean, if we're counting that stuff, then there's even more than I thought.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if...
It said armies was the term.
I don't personally think that it's going to be... I think if they did it like with sub-factions included or even rules, I do think that would feel very cheap. So unless there's like, 5 in this final book, unless we're getting 5 new model for different factions, then there has to be at least 5 books, right? 6. We gave to find out the conclusion, or we have to figure. I'm assuming the conclusion of the twin-tailed crusades. Then we have to find out what happened to the to Hammerhall because it was seized by Korn and Skaven. What? That's so cool. Man, I might actually have to read that. What book is that in, Cody? Please let me know. Korgos Cool was trying to kill a continent in Gur to make Daddy proud. That's awesome. Not as cool that it's like Gur. Like, it's kind of already a bit of a Cornish kind of place. Anyway, wait, change my answer to 5. I thought we already had 4 out. Okay, fair enough. That's fair.
So, for context, there are 9 Psychic Awakening books.
9.
9.
9. Wow, that's more than I thought. I was gonna say 6.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna get that many Dawnbringers. Just
I
with the
don't
release
think so.
cadence, that doesn't make sense.
Also, it is 40k versus AOS.
Yeah.
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 Huh. Wow. 9, hey? And did you ever count how many Forgotten Realms books we got?
Broken Realms? Let me check.
Broken Realms. Dang it, I keep doing that. And I think it was Ledivicus was kind enough to correct me earlier. Oh, and I forgot to say, yeah, Grungy scaring off Bellicor was really hype. Ooh, I wonder if we're going to get dwarves as a faction. United dwarves before 4th, or at least in 4th. That would be sick. I'm not even into dwarves, and I won't play them anyway, but like just uniting dwarves and having like some kind of god model like Grungy or I think Grombrindle. Like a lot of people during Broken Realms were saying Grungy was scaring off Bellicor, but I was talking to Dan about it, and he was saying he still thinks it's Grombrindle, but I can't remember his reasoning behind it. Yeah. Committed at this point to having the set, so please, it has to be 4. Oh no, Ledivicus, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, but
there were 4 Broken Realms.
okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, originally I was thinking 5, but
yeah, Marathi, Teclis, Bellicor, Kragnos.
Right. Okay. I have 2 of them. I only bought the ones with stuff for my faction in them. But I kind of wish I bought the Teclis one just because there was kind of a cool story there. But yeah. If I recall correctly, Grumgate Wars was Broken Wars was 4. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, Psychic Awakening went into 9th. And then we had something for 10th edition too, but I don't remember what it was. Or did we? Maybe we didn't. I don't know how they would resist doing something like that, but you know, just giving small updates to different factions is a fun way of giving everyone a little something, and you know, I just think that the books are too expensive. Like, what are they, like $60 or something like that for? Yeah,
They're like Battletome price, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like $5 cheaper. Okay.
I mean, yeah, for someone that's like really, really into the lore and like collecting and stuff like that, I can kind of see the worth, but I can't imagine those books sell very well.
No, yeah, exactly. And they make like limited edition versions of them for some reason as well. And it's like, okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I think they have been. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, guys. And there's nothing wrong with people like enjoying any part of this hobby, including like buying limited edition. I actually can kind of see, if I was really into it, like I could see that being a thing for me, because like the limited edition covers are always gorgeous, you know. So if you're collecting them anyway, and gonna go back to them, yeah, I've got the Seraphon one, and fingers crossed I'm gonna have the FEC one. So, whoa, you like phased in and out of reality there for a second. It kind of worked. What the crap? It's actually working. That is creepy. 9th edition had enough books. They didn't need to give them more before 10th. Fair enough. Yeah, that's true. And now we've got like what's it called? Skyrim in space going on. Carson's leaping through dimensions here. You look very disconcerted. Oh man.
Just, oh, I didn't see you there. Hello, traveler. My dog is really angry that I'm doing this.
She's like, you've used that enough, you know.
Yeah. It's like, this joke is overdone.
Yeah, you're getting lazy with your comedy.
Yeah.
The limited edition battle tomes are nice, Keith says. You get a page ribbon. You get that, you get gilded pages, and honestly, I just like looking at them more, like on the shelf. Like my Seraphon one, I love it. Yeah. I've got the Skaven one.
I've got the original. Oh, go ahead. You're about to do the same thing I'm doing. Go for it.
Yeah, so I've just got the Skaven one, but there was no box, right? There's no box for it. It's just like the individual. They just sold, like, you also have the option of buying it and it just says Skaven on it. And it's the same front cover and it looks cool, but the limited edition battle tomes, like, are the ones that come in those army boxes, like they're not even the same. Like they're totally different. They've got like original and very cool art on them. So yeah, even better. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, I've got the original Lumineth one. I've got Slaves to Darkness, and now I've got Cities of Sigmar. And I think next time they like whenever Ogre's the 4th edition books come out, I'll probably get that one as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you are the Ogre guy. It's like I'm the Skaven guy, so it's like you almost feel obligated to a certain extent. But
yeah.
I hope they come out with a limited edition Skaven one. Gilded pages are great. Makes paper cuts hurt way more. I don't think so. I think it makes them hurt less because it's sharper. Right? Maybe not. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I enjoy talking about it. Yeah, I mean, let us know in the comments in the future what you guys, think, what you're looking forward to, how many books you think are coming out of Broken Realms. And if you're down there, if you wouldn't mind giving a like, subscribing for the YouTube gods. I'm bringing that back because I'm trying to get those numbers up. Let's get them through the roof, okay?
We're super close to 3K, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we're almost at 3K, so I really appreciate each and every person. We're really close. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Cody. Appreciate it. Next week on Sagaofdice, Rob tests the paper cut theory. No. No. I'm not a Slaanesh player.
And now, stock.
Gilded page. Yeah. Oh God, no. I am not into that at all. But yeah, thanks as always for joining me, Carson. And
thanks for having me.
Thank you. And thanks to the lovely people at home for watching. If you made it this far, congrats. You win a prize, and that is my respect. And at your masochism. Yep. But yep. Thanks to everyone for hanging out as well, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.